What's up, guys? It's Kobe with Timber Boss, of course, and just wanted to shoot another lesson today. And really, it was for my guy Steve Black. It was his kind of idea after my lesson about uh, how to put reeds in a duck call, the correct way. It was kind of his idea to do a lesson over maybe dog ears. There's 100 different kinds of ways to cut dog ears, and some people really don't know what the dog ears really do. You see them at real flat angles, you see them at real sharp angles, you see them with no dog ears, with dog ears, with little dog ears. I mean, it's endless. But just wanted to go over some different types, what they do, how they affect the sound type deal, and it's all going to take place over here on the tuning table. So we'll get swung over and set up, and we'll go through some different type of dog ears and how they affect the sound of a duck call. Stick with us. All right, guys, we're here at the tuning table, and I got 4 or 5 different types of dog ears cut up, and I'm going to show you the difference. Now, okay, I'm not an expert by any means. I just know how a duck call should blow and what they sound like. But in my personal experience with dog ears, is they really don't make that big a difference. With that being said, I used to think, and looking through, I collect duck calls, and I've seen a lot of, you look at cut downs, how sharp their dog ears are cut, and then you look at like a call such as your R&T, your Diablos. They have a real sharp reed angle, such as these, or a really sharp reed angle. Okay, you cannot take a tone board, okay, and change out reeds and just cut a sharp angle like that and expect to get a super raspy call. I think it helps some with the rasp, but you cannot take, like I said, you can't go from buy a call that's super smooth and then cut dog ears on that and expect to have a super raspy call. What the rasp comes from is your tone board shape and your reed height. How far the reeds stick up. That's what gets you raspy. My personal experience with dog ears is really the only thing that affect significantly is how easy the call is to blow. Okay, you take a reed such as a dog ear, like a super steep angle, compared to just a flat reed, this call is going to be harder to blow. Even though these reeds, I've cut all these reeds to, the same length wise, height, but this one just has sharper angles. This reed here, this call, if you stick this reed in this call, is going to be a lot easier to blow than that straight one, because you're taking off a lot more, thickness off this reed. Okay, personally, this is about the ears I put on my calls. So say if I'm tuning a call and it's just about there but a little heavy, and I don't think I can make the cut tall ways, this way with the scissors, if I don't think I can make the cut this way without taking off too much, I'm going to dog ear this, and that's going to give my call, it's going to make it a little easier to blow, and I'm not going to have to worry about taking off too much to run a reed. So really, in my experiences, dog ears have more to do with making the call just a little easier to blow. Okay. Now what I did is I took I got a reed. I'm gonna put this in the call. We're gonna go from straight to the sharpest angle. Okay, so I got 5 reeds, and so we'll do this 5 times. We're gonna go from the straight reed. Okay, and remember this, all these reeds are the same length. Okay, then we're gonna go to this call, this reed, which is standard, what I call it. This is actually the reed that was in this duck call. Like if somebody would have ordered this, this is what it would sound like. It's number 2. It's gonna be a little easier to blow, and you're gonna notice when I'm blowing through these that the rasp really does not change at all. And I'll give you a description on like how they blow. I mean, you'll be able to hear them. Okay, we're gonna go to this third, which is gonna be compared to that second one. The second one is not near as flat. The second one's more up at this kind of angle. This one is more at a flat angle. Okay, which is gonna let this call here be a little harder to blow, just because I didn't take near off. Even though it takes more off towards the middle here, the top. It don't take near the angle off, so this call will be a little harder to blow. And I mean, when I say harder, I mean it's nothing. I mean you really don't even notice it. Okay, then we're gonna go to this one, which is gonna be easy. Easier. It has about the same angle as what we send out in, but it's a little deeper into the reed. And then we'll go to the super dog ear. Okay, but we're gonna go through these, and I'm gonna flip around, get set up, and we'll blow through these and let you hear the difference in what these dog ears make. All right, guys, we're flipped around here, and it's time to start putting these reeds in and showing you the difference. And like I said before, I always heard the sharper the dog ear, the raspier the call, and I found out that that's personally not true to me, and I might be totally wrong, but to me it don't make that big a difference on rasp. Rasp has always came from how much I stand off the insert. The more I stand off to cock that reed up, the raspier that call is going to be. But I'm going to show you, like I said, we're going to start out with the flat reed with no dog ears at all. Absolutely no dog ears. And all these are the same length. Alright, and something else you want to watch for, I kind of didn't explain this in my last video, is when you go to put these reeds and calls, you always, when you put your cork in, to start your cork, and you see this gap here, you always want to look and make sure that bottom of that reed is not bent, that it's flat. Because a lot of times when you're pushing down on this reed to hold it still and you go to put that cork in there, that reed will bend up in there. So you want to make sure it's flat. Okay. This is the hardest color to see anything on. It's flat. It has no dog ears. Okay. So I'm going to kind of scoot back here, and I'm just going to give it a little run. Not hard to blow at all to me. My ear's built up pretty good, so good quiet. I mean, it's got good rasp in it, but that's in the insert. That's with the reed length. I mean, with the reed angle, how high that reed is. I can tell it is harder to blow than the normal with the dog ears. The little dog ears it makes this call noticeably different on how hard it is to blow on your like longer hell calls and stuff, you can tell that you're having to really keep the pressure on this one. And then also, you notice over time, if you blow this call for a week with no dog ears, you can take this out, this reed out, and look at your tip of your dog ears, or where your dog ears would be, and that insert, or that reed will be super white. And that's just where that mylar is breaking down and thinning out. And a lot of times, the wider it is, you know, you can tell the older that reed is, especially if you look at Main Street calls, when they don't change their reeds out for a few weeks during the practice and their stuff, that tip of that reed all the way across will be super wide. And over time, if you keep blowing that reed, it's going to split on you. It's going to crack. But anyway. With this straight reed, it's harder to blow. It's harder to do the bouncing hens and stuff. I'm really having to force my air and push my air. So if you want a call, you know, that's harder to blow, you might want to not dog ear at all. You know, leave your reeds straight across where there's no dog ears. You know, that's what that's going to give you. That's going to give you a call that's a little harder to blow, and that you really got to keep that air pressure built, you know, forced on. All right, now we're going to the reed that would come in this call. It's the number 2 reed that I showed you. It has very little dog ears, not at a real flat angle. When I dog ear them here, and I mean, I just want to hear the scissors pop. I can tell right off the bat it's easier to blow for sure. All right, winds. Easier to blow for sure. Rasp, really, I can't hear a difference or feel a difference. You know, a lot of times you blow a duck call, you can feel how it's blowing. You know, if it's raspy or what. I really don't feel a difference. I feel like it's got the same amount of rasp as the straight reed. Like I said, these reeds are the same length, just a dog ear difference. Okay. Now we're going to go to the dog ears that are super flat. We're going to go to the dog ears that are super flat. I don't know how to make this easier so you can see the dog ears. The super flat dog ears. Okay. Same length. tell that big a difference between the second and this one. This one might be a tad bit harder to blow, like I said, but it's not very noticeable at all. It blows real similar. I don't hear that big a rasp difference. It handles the same. If I go from a low note to a high note real fast, it handles the same. Feed calls the same. Really, not a big difference. Like I said, it's not a big difference at all. Now we're gonna go to reed number 4. All right, we're gonna go to your right here. Okay. Now, this one should be easier to blow than all of them so far. So you got to back off the air pressure and try not to squill this out. Which easier to blow with these sharper angles. It's going to be easier to whine on. It's going to be easier to feed call on. It's going to be easier to do everything, and it's really going to be easier to squawk and overpower and power squawk. But I'm just not hearing a big rasp difference. I've always, when I first started, like I said, that the sharper the angle, the more raspy. But I just find that not true. It might make a tad difference, but it's nowhere near noticeable. If you take, like I'm doing here, take the same tone board and change your dog ear angles, you're not going to see a significant rasp increase just because you have a sharper angle on your reed. It's just not going to happen. Like I said, the major difference you're going to see is the sharper the dog ear and the further in your dog ears are. The more it's anything, it's just like taking it off top ways. Taking off, cutting straight across the reed. The more you take off, the easier that call is going to be to blow. Same difference as dog ears. The sharper that angle is, and the more you take off the top of that reed, the width of it, the easier that call is going to be to blow. And that's the major difference I found on dog ears. So I would say don't believe in the hype as far as your dog ears determine the rasp, because it's not going to happen. Okay. Now we're going to the super dog ear, the dog ear. Okay. Alright. See, if anything, that's making it smoother. And I say making it smoother is because it's just like anything. The longer the reed is, the raspier the quack you're going to have. Because it's going to give you a deeper, raspier sound. The shorter the reed, the less air it's going to take, and the higher pitched quack it's going to be. It's going to be a higher pitched quack. And so with this reed, even though it's the same length, I took so much off of the dog ears that I've really made a real smooth not so raspy call. So your dog ears, I'd say if you want a raspy call, to either not dog ear it at all or barely dog ear, a barely, just popping, hearing the scissors click off that reed, on your dog ear is going to really give you the raspier call. All right, so we're going to go here. Here, I kind of squealed it all. I mean, it's super easy to blow. Way too easy for me. All that stuff's gonna be easier, but it's way too easy. See, way high pitched, kind of real squawky sounding. Most definitely. Don't like this. All right, and what you could do, you could lengthen the reed and cut that same angle dog ear, but I do not think that's going to give you any different sound if you would take, say, the reed that's this length as the reeds I've been blowing, and the not so sharp dog ears, like maybe number 2 that I showed you. Take that reed compared to this super dog ear one. If you would lengthen this about 20 thousandths, which is 2 duck call lengths, if you took two duck call reeds together, that's 20 thousandths. If you would make this 20 thousandths longer and do the same angle, this would probably give you about the same sound as number 2 reed now. That's shorter but has less of a dog ear. So, with all that being said, and you've heard them. I blew through 5 reeds. Okay, and there's not a big difference in the rasp in them. What you're hearing, what you heard, is how easy they are to blow. There was a major difference from number 1 to number 5. From the ones that didn't have dog ears to the one that had the major dog ear. Like if you would buy a Rich and Tone, Diablo, or I'm trying to think of some other ones they had that had super sharp angles like that. There's a few duck calls that have them. Like I said, you see cut downs have real sharp angles, and I would, that has to do, the rasp on a cut down has to do with the reed, the height. So really, if you want a raspy call, I would go with the less dog ears and a longer reed. All right, and it's really just experimenting. Try a longer reed with a sharper angle, or try, a reed that's shorter with a not so steep angle. I mean, it's all trial and error, and that's anything with duck calls. When you tune a call, you're sanding on the tone board to get a different sound. It's especially starting out, you don't know where to sand, so you sand a lot and you're going to learn a lot. And that's why if I was a starting out call maker or somebody wanting to piddle around with duck calls and making duck calls, I would start with wood because it's cheaper and you're going to learn a lot. You're going to go through a lot and it's going to be trash, and you're going to cut some out and it's going to sound real close to what you want it to sound like. And so you'd think, oh, if I just go a little bit more, I can get it, and then you go too far and you ruin it. And that's just part of it, and that's the name of the game. But I hope this helped and maybe gave you a little insight on dog ears and what people say, and then what really difference they do make. And like I said, there's not a big difference there, besides the sharper the dog ear, the easier that call is going to be to blow. So, and that's why I think a lot of people dog ear their calls. I don't know if they dog ear it because they just see people do it and they think that's what they're supposed to do. I send a lot of our calls out that don't have no dog ears, and then when I do, it's barely. I don't dog ear a call super aggressively, but stick around, man. If y'all have any suggestions on maybe what videos to do next, we went over about everything I can think of to do it. But if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. But I hope you enjoy. Season's coming around the corner. I hope to see some of y'all on some public land hunts. It's going to be a good year, I hope. So anyways, until next time.